One of the best recipes in the world you probably have not heard of is a Japanese pesto. During a trip to Japan recently, to Miyazu, Japan, the cook made a miso pesto. They had miso on the base, which gives you a little sweetness, rich flavor, and then a peppery leaf, sansho leaves on top. So we thought we'd adapt that to a classic Genovese, and we pulled the same trick, which is a miso base, gives you deep depth of flavor, and then the scallions and the basil on top to really bring that freshness. It's not a one-note pesto. We're gonna start with the pasta. This is a pound of spaghetti. The recipe itself for the pesto takes about 2 minutes to make, so we'll do it now. We have 4 scallions. We're gonna use the white part, the green part, the whole part, not just part of the part, but all the parts. Okay, put that in here. Basil, some walnuts. Some pestos don't have any nuts at all. Pine nuts are traditional. We don't grow pine nuts in Vermont, so I use almonds and walnuts a lot. They're great. This is white miso. It has a little sweetness to it. It really gives you a smooth, buttery pesto instead of something that's too sharp. So that's our secret ingredient. We have rice vinegar, and we have mirin. The supermarket, you rarely get a true Japanese mirin. However, some of them are better than others. The ones that start with water and glucose, they're sugar water. No, that's a waste. If I was gonna replace a bad mirin with something else, I would just use sake, I would use Shaoxing wine. You can buy a big bottle from a Chinese supermarket that's inexpensive. That's kind of similar, but sugar water is no good. Salt, so some white pepper, okay. Why is it backwards? You know, the miso makes it super creamy, which I really like on the hot pasta. It also gives you a little sweetness. Sometimes with the basil pesto, if there's garlic in it, for example, it's kind of sharp, almost bitter. This has a very smooth, rich flavor. There we go. We've done some testing about salt in water. I think we had been using like a tablespoon. This is kosher salt. We're now using 2 tablespoons of kosher salt per 4 quarts of water. That seems to be about right. But you could up that a little bit if you like. What you want is enough salt to really flavor the pasta, but you don't want the cooking water to be so salty when you add it to the sauce, when you're combining the sauce and the pasta. If you don't have enough salt in the water, you're missing a lot of the pasta flavor. It's bland. That's good. I can taste the salt in the pasta. It's got flavor. It's nice.
Chris, why don't we sauce pesto with honey?
Because pesto's not cooked. You don't want to cook the fresh flavors of pesto. You have scallions and basil. No, if it's tomato sauce, sure. This is the part where a lot of people make a mistake. They toss it for 10 or 15 seconds. It needs more than that. It needs almost a couple minutes. You can reserve pasta cooking water. It has starch in it, which is going to help emulsify the pesto. Enough water so you have a nice sauce, and it's now really covering the pasta. You know, in Italy, I've said this 1,000 times, it's the pasta comes first. And they don't use a ton of sauce. They're very careful about how much sauce they use. So you have the fresh stuff on top, and you have the base flavors on the bottom, which is really a good culinary lesson, right? You build a foundation, then you put something bright or spicy or lemony or whatever, you know, zesty on top. So those 2 things are a great way to build complexity into a dish, and that's what the miso does here. So that's really good.